Hi, and welcome back to the second hour of this Monday edition of Focal Point on AFR Talk. Brian Fisher, your congenial, convivial, and amiable host. The program is Focal Point. The network is AFR Talk. Now, let's grab, Rob, if we can, let's grab clips 9 and 10, the Boehner and Paul Ryan clips. Remember, we played that soundbite from the end of Ted Cruz's speech. Now, Ted Cruz has gone in there, and he's shaking that place up. He's a freshman senator, and he's ticking everybody off. He's ticking Dianne Feinstein off. She thinks he's an arrogant little punk who doesn't know his place. I've been around here 20 years. I've studied the Constitution. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're still wet behind. She resented the heck out of the fact that he spoke his mind as a senator doing his job. And Ted Cruz has said frequently, look, I'm just doing what my constituents sent me here to do. They did not send me here to be a potted plant. They sent me here to represent their values, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to wait my turn to speak my piece. That's what I got sent here to do. I'm going to do it. Ticking off John McCain, Lindsey Graham. John McCain's out there calling him a wacko bird. You know, one of his comments he made in his CPAC speech, hey, that's what if speaking your mind and defending the Constitution qualifies you as a wacko bird, then color me a proud wacko bird. But remember what he said at the end of his speech, and this brought the 8,000 to 10,000 folks at CPAC to their feet, standing ovation, thunderous applause. Do we surrender on the debt or do we fight? Remember, he asked that question. Do we surrender or do we stand? And everybody at CPAC doesn't want surrender. They want them to stand. Well, unfortunately, apparently John Boehner and even Paul Ryan, sad to say, even Paul Ryan are prepared to surrender at least for a time on the debt issue. This is amazing to me. We have a $16 trillion debt. It's getting worse. We're borrowing $300 million a day or something like that. There's some astronomically absurd figure that we are borrowing every single day. It's just absolutely absurd, the level of debt that we're running. We have a crisis. We're going to implode. The whole thing is going to collapse in on itself if something isn't done right now. And yet John Boehner does not seem to understand that. Here he's on with Martha Raddatz, clip number 9. And here's his exchange with Martha Raddatz about this debt crisis. Do we have an immediate debt crisis?
Is he right that we don't have an immediate crisis?
We do not have an immediate debt crisis.
Good
but
grief.
We all know that we have one looming. And we have one looming because we have entitlement programs that are not sustainable in their current form. They're going to go bankrupt.
How long do we have to solve our problems?
Nobody knows where this is. It could be a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's not an immediate problem, but we can
So
all
you agree with the president on that?
Yes,
Good
but
grief.
his point, as he went on to say in that interview, is that we don't really need to do anything at this point, and I would argue that we do need to do something.
We do need to do something, but think of how much ground he's giving away here. We do not have an immediate debt crisis. We do, Speaker Boehner, with all due respect. This is what Paul Ryan has been trying to say for years. The debt crisis is immediate. It's now. It's on us. We've got to do something significant and large right now. But John Boehner says we don't have an immediate debt crisis. How long do we have? Nobody knows. It could be 1 year. It could be 2 years, 3 years. We could kick the can down the road for 4 years, according to Speaker Boehner. It's not an immediate problem. I mean, I frankly, I do not understand this. You know, because you think about this from a larger standpoint, is virtually the Republicans are stripping their party, and the establishment Republicans are stripping the party of values issues virtually entirely. They've conceded on immigration. They've saying we've got to do amnesty. They have conceded on gay marriage. Scott Walker's out there saying young people are going for gay marriage. We can't be afford to be painted as intolerant. We got to give ground on gay marriage. Senator Portman caved in on gay marriage on Friday because his son came out as homosexual. We talked about that Friday. Just because my son robs a bank is not going to change my view of the morality of bank robbing. So it makes no sense that he would make a major policy shift for the entire civilization based on one incident in his own family. But that's what he's prepared to do. And a lot of other Republicans apparently ready to go right off the cliff with him. So they've abandoned the field on the rule of law, on amnesty, any kind of border security. They've abandoned the field on that. They've given up on same-sex marriage. The only thing they've got left is fiscal conservatism. That's the only thing now that the Republican Party even pretends to stand for. And here's John Boehner. No, we don't have an immediate crisis. We've got time. We could have 4 years. Now, here is Paul Ryan. And this is what's really disappointing to me. Paul Ryan's been the guy that's been trying to get our attention and provide a solution that can avoid inevitable disaster. And here's what he had to say.
Borrow a phrase from my friend Erskine Bowles in the Fiscal Commission. We are the healthiest looking horse in the glue factory. That means America is still a step ahead of the European nations who are confronting a debt crisis, of Japan that's in its second lost decade. It's partly because of our resilient economy, because of our world currency status. So we do not have a debt crisis right now, but we see it coming. We know it's irrefutably happening. And the point we're trying to make with our budget is let's get ahead of this problem.
I don't know what to make of that. I mean, I don't have any way to even process. We do not have a debt crisis right now. And yet, this is the guy that's been telling us, and rightly so, for the last 6 years, that the roof is getting ready to cave in on our heads unless we do something right now. So I don't exactly know how to process all of that. This is the one thing that you felt like the Republican Party actually stood for was fiscal responsibility, and now they even seem to be wobbling on that. So I don't know where all of that is going to go. Now, here's George Will, clip 8. George Will talking about his observations at CPAC, and he's talking about the drift he sees in the Republican Party away from the values issues like natural marriage. Let's listen.
What I did see at CPAC was the rise of the libertarian strand of republicanism, which has an effect in foreign policy, that is a pullback from nation building and other kind of ambitions abroad that they'd never countenance from government at home, and a sense of live and let live with subjects such as decriminalization of certain drugs and gay marriage.
So George Will said, look, the Republican Party's going libertarian. That's what he sees, what he saw CPAC all about is this libertarian. And libertarianism, ladies and gentlemen, will destroy the Republican Party, and worse than that, it will destroy the United States of America. Libertarianism is like that old ad for Foster beer. Or Outback Steakhouse or whatever. No rules, just right. No rules. That's libertarianism. No rules. Nobody tells you what to do. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. I get to do whatever I want, no matter what the collateral damage is. That is it's another form of bondage, and it's going to wind up corroding a culture completely and destroying it from within. And George Will says that's the direction the Republican Party's going. Focal Point, AFR Talk.